case briefs, and so much more. LSData's got what you're looking for.
The United States Supreme Court reversed a decision of the Court of Appeals, ruling that a landlord in Dallas, Texas, must repay unlawfully collected rental overcharges despite the termination of rent control. In the landmark case, United States v. Moore in 1951. This decision reaffirmed the principle that orders protecting public interest and enforcing compliance with laws retain their validity, even if the referenced laws are no longer in effect. The legal proceedings were initiated by the U.S. government against the landlord, who had been charging tenants an amount surpassing the limit set by the Housing and Rent Act of 1947. The landlord contended that the termination of rent control rendered the law inapplicable. The courts were presented with the task of determining whether the landlord was legally bound to repay the financial overages, particularly in light of the ceased rent control. The district court sided with the government, ordering the landlord to compensate for statutory damages and reimburse the tenants for the excessive rent charged. However, this ruling was later overturned by the Court of Appeals, who declared that the government was eligible only for statutory damages. In response to this conflicting judgment, the Supreme Court was called upon to resolve the matter and determine the necessity of restitution. The Supreme Court overruled the Court of Appeals' decision, confirming the landlord's obligation to reimburse the rent overcharges. The landlord's argument that they bore no liability due to the termination of rent control was dismissed. The Supreme Court's verdict affirmed that the restitution orders held legal force for times when the rental charges breached the law, despite the decontrol of rental pricing. Consequently, the case was sent back to the lower courts for further action.
Case briefs, and so much more. LSData's got what you're looking for. Visit lsd.law, elevate your mind. Leave the stress of class.